Good afternoon, Coolest Coast. It's time for Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Coffee with Kristin and Tina. We're your hosts. This is the amazing Kristin Odell. I'm Tina Prigge. We're so happy to see you on an afternoon.
I know, isn't this fun?
So, what did you decide to drink, Kristin?
I have kombucha.
Ooh, an excellent choice.
Um, Basically because it's kind of like tart and refreshing. It feels like a good afternoon thing.
And it's got healthful benefits, right?
That's what I hear. I don't really know if it makes a difference or not. But sometimes like I try to drink water and drink coffee and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it's just nice to have something different in the mix.
Yeah, I think a kombucha too, that tartness, it kind of like just sparks you awake, right?
Yeah, I've been working hard in my home office all morning, so I was ready for kind of a punch.
Nice.
So, how
I've
about
been
you?
I've been working my butt off in therapy all morning, so I fell back to the traditional just coffee.
Will you take a nap after this?
You know, I think a nap is on in my future.
I mean, I feel like you've earned it. It sounds like you've earned it.
I will try really hard not to let it happen while we're in progress of this show.
That would be good, and we'll try to keep yawning to a minimum.
Okay, excellent, excellent plan.
I
Hey,
love
a friend of mine who loves books like we love books sent me this funny meme, and I just want to share it because I love this concept. So it says, how about this? A book bar where you can slam a book shut on the bar after you're finished, shout, another! And the barkeep will choose a new book from your TBR, to be read list, based on what they think you will most enjoy in the moment, like some kind of librarian sommelier. I love this concept.
Yes, please. When and how can we start this?
How could we? I wonder if the Nook would accommodate something like that.
I mean,
Another!
that's it. Although I guess you can get this a little bit with a Kindle because I have a cover, but like when you close the Kindle up because you finished a book or you just hit like delete from your library because you're done with it, it's maybe not as climatic as that, but yeah, I love this. Actually, sometimes I will read a wide variety of books, but sometimes I feel like the hardest part is picking a new one.
Sometimes you're right. Yeah, because sometimes even if you loved the, topic and the genre of the one you read,
Mhm.
you don't necessarily want to jump into the same genre, right? Sometimes you need
Yes.
like we call it like a palate cleanser of sorts.
Right. Right. Yeah, the Nook. That's a good idea. Be like, can you just pick one for me? Or you know who I feel like is actually pretty good at this is our friends at the Manitowoc Public Library.
You know what? They are so good at it.
I feel like they know authors and themes and different things that can make it pretty easy to find something.
I told them I was interested in like travel and adventure sort of memoirs, and they sent me this great book that I'm almost done with. It's called 30 Below, and it's about the first all women team to summit Denali back in like 1975 ish, I want to say 1970s, somewhere in there. And it's interesting because not only is it celebrating these women who, have you ever heard of them? I never
Mm,
have, right? Like until this book, never
yeah.
heard, and it's a true story. It said they're just kind of lost in history, like because it was such a man-dominated sport,
Mm,
women were often overlooked, or like if they accomplished something. So it talked about this really technical climb that men were like challenged to climb. And one time these two women took it on and they succeeded and they summited. And that very same day, this French newspaper was like, well, no self-respecting man would ever try that summit again because women did it, so it must be too easy. Like, what kind of an attitude is that?
Oh my word. Well, that's super cool. Like what an first of all, an interesting topic you're reading on. And then second of all, just this genre. Like you people might not know this about Tina, but you're a world traveler, right? And so what a kind of cool way to like keep your mind adventuring.
Yeah, I love it. Because with a story like that, right? Especially mountain climbing, which I would never do. Like, I don't have mountain climbing in my bones, but I love reading about it. I'm like obsessed with reading about teams that have summited Everest or summited K2 or summited Denali, for example. It just is so fascinating because there are so many challenges to overcome. And no matter how well planned it is, it's so easy for things to go wrong, an unexpected avalanche, an ice fall, a crevasse that was hidden, right? Like overcoming all of these immense challenges, the intense cold.
Yeah, that's so cool. I should look. I once read a book. I think it was about the Swiss Alps. I can't think of what it was. And so people that had summited and or maybe it's a maybe I'm confusing it with an airplane crash over the Alps. One or the other. People had to survive on the Alps, let's say. And just so interesting and just like things I don't know anything about.
Right, right, and just so much inspiration too, right, to learn how people get through challenges.
Mhm.
So, I think that's useful to everybody, but, like, especially when you're dealing with a challenge like I currently am,
Right.
seeing what people are able to overcome. I'm like, "Okay, I
Mhm.
got this. I can keep going."
Yeah, I mean, that is actually one of the reasons why I love reading World War II, whether it's historical fiction or real nonfiction. Like, there's something to be said there about the grittiness and the willingness to just continue to push through that, like, is very inspiring and sometimes makes things that happen in our day to day feel not quite so bad.
Yeah, but there's so many, like, underdog success stories when you read about World War II. Yeah, that is super inspiring.
Right. So cool. I love it.
And my cousin, shared this quote with me, and I just felt really inspired by it. It said, "A strong woman looks a challenge dead in the eye and gives it a wink."
I love it. Is that her name or the original author's name?
Nope, that's the original author.
I love it. That's so cool. Did she mail it to you? How did you get it?
She sent it over text.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Where will you put that little recipe card?
Oh, where will I put this? Let me pull it up again. Well, I'm putting it here in this episode.
For
No,
all eternity on the World Wide Web.
I should maybe print it out. That's a great idea.
It feels like one of those that would just be really good for like a bathroom mirror.
I love that I thought of, like, looking at a challenge and just giving it
Yeah,
a wink.
I got you.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we have this little quote board behind the toilet in Doug and I's bathroom. And sometimes I have handwritten notes from people that like are especially meaningful or quotes or just different things. And it's like just kind of a good reminder, like I probably go in there 2 or 3 times a day just to have that little touch of positivity.
I love it. And, we can never have enough positivity in our days.
You're right.
Hey, I know that you just got back from Ohio, and my brother and his family just returned from Germany and passed through Ohio because that's where their next, assignment's gonna be, and it turns out they brought me some fudge from a shop that you also know.
We are familiar with it. We've not ever stopped. Can you
It's
take this full screen just so our viewers can really appreciate what it's
let's
that's
see.
an option.
If I pull this out, I don't. Nope, that's as full screen as it's gonna get. So if you look closely, it's called the Uranus Fudge Shop, and the jokes were just unending.
Yes, they have billboards all along the interstates in Ohio advertising the Uranus Fudge Shop.
It says the best fudge comes from Uranus.
That's right. Not only that, but you can scan the QR code to see Uranus.
You mean I could see Uranus?
Yes. And if you want to probe your Uranus deeper, you can sign up for the newsletter or
You
go
can
to the
follow
website.
Uranus on social media.
Yeah, you could who knows? I mean, who knew that? I didn't even know. We had a very long trip down. There was a car accident in Chicago that had us sitting on the interstate for like 2 hours. So what's normally like an 8.5 hour trip took more like an 11-hour trip. And so we were seeking things that brought us entertainment and humor in the car. And I was like, I think we need to stop at Uranus to get some fudge to take back to your family. And we like were gonna stop and then they close at 5. And so it was like 6 o'clock or whatever when we were coming home.
Uranus closes at 5?
Uranus closes at 5.
Okay, so then were these, fruit snacks fallback? Was this instead of Uranus? Did these fruit snacks come from Uranus?
Uh, these fruit snacks did not come from my Uranus. I can't even say it, Uranus. That sounds. No, we had these in our tote. We were well stocked with snacks, thank goodness. So the girls love these. These are Flavor Burst by Black
Mm.
Forest. One of the reasons we love them is because they have fruit and vegetable dyes in and not chemical dyes, which is kid friendly in my house. So we had these in the car. Doug loves them. And he took this little pack and dumped them in his hand and went like this and ate them all at once. And I was
Was it
like,
like, or did it?
"Oh, it's probably not that many." I mean, it was probably like 8 or 9. And he can take a good man bite, like, he's definitely got a bigger mouth than I do, but, like, I was like, "What did you just do?"
I suppose
He's like,
as the driver, right? Like that's probably the safest, right? Because now he can put both hands back on the wheel. He doesn't have to
I
worry
mean,
about. But
yeah, you're maybe not wrong about that, but I was like, "Okay, you have another pack. You need to eat this one at a time mindfully." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, if you didn't say this, I would never do this." So, it really got me thinking, how do you eat fruit snacks? How do our listeners
yeah,
eat fruit snacks?
I think I'm way more mindful about the way I eat, even snacks, right? Like even if I have a candy bar, sometimes I'll just break it in half and then take a bite of a half and then set it aside for later. And then maybe come back. It's days have gone by before just to be like, are you gonna keep eating that? Like, why is that still sitting there?
Are you eating that candy bar over there? Yeah, I mean, I fruit snacks, M&Ms, Skittles, anything like that, I'm eating them one at a time and, like, enjoying the individual flavors and
Yeah.
kinda taking them in, and then Doug disclosed to me, which I just think this is so great. When he worked for his grandfather's shop, he would get a row, like a whole cube of Starburst, and he would unwrap them all and then smash them together and then eat the whole thing at once.
I never would have even thought of that. Like,
Right.
where does the unwrapped one go while you're unwrapping the others?
Maybe there's a foundational paper that the first one sits on or something. I don't know. I
I
I
Could
have
you
no
ask him if he would let you make a video clip of him doing that? I wanna see that. That
idea.
sounds so
So we also had these like Mamba candy sticks in the car. And so I was like, I have an idea. There's 3 flavors. So I unwrapped them. They're like this long, but like a skinny Tootsie Roll. And I weaved 3 of them together. I like twisted them like this and gave it to him. And he like took one bite and chewed it and then ate the other half. And he was like, that was awesome.
nice. So does it take a while then to chew all of that?
I don't feel like it does. I feel
Interesting.
like I don't know, but I as we thought and talked again, these are the things you have time to talk about when you spend 11 hours in a car together. Like, I eat potato chips one at a time,
Oh,
or,
me
like,
too.
pretzels or, snack mix, I'll pick things out, and I also really, after some thought, realized that I like to eat things so that they're, like, in an order or, like, if there's, 13 Skittles, I will match up whatever colors there are and then, like, eat them until they're even, and then I eat them in even quantities or even with, like, chips, I'll eat all the broken ones first if I can, and then, like and that is so,
That's
so
a lot of thought put into your food. Although thinking about chips, I migrate towards the whole ones. The
do you?
broken ones, like, frustrate me, and,
Yeah.
like, I'll avoid those at all
I
costs.
think that's exactly why I get them out of the way.
Oh.
Like, I clear out the like, "You're broken, get the heck out of here. I want the whole chips," That's not anything that Doug or I think the kids do either, so, like, viewers, if you're watching this on playback, tell us, what do you do?
Yeah, like, I eat a Pringle one at a time. I like the shape of it and everything,
Mhm.
and, I've seen some people, I won't name names, take, like, a stack, right, and then, like,
Why won't you name names? Come on. You're throwing Doug completely under the bus. He knows friends, he knows. I'm like, hold that wrapper up. I'm taking a picture and texting Tina right now."
That's hilarious, that's hilarious. So, did you have snacks then on what looks like a cool adventure here? Are you on a boat?
So, on the way back then, to kind of avoid construction and traffic, we, took the interstate north in Ohio and went up to Muskegon, Michigan. And then there's an express lake ferry that goes between Muskegon and Milwaukee,
Ooh.
called the Lake Express. And so we hopped on there with our car and took that across. It's a 2-hour trip across the lake, to get back home so that we could kind of just avoid all things
Oh,
Chicago.
how was that? Would you recommend it? Do you think that was a
Awesome.
good detour?
Absolutely. I would totally recommend it. It was really fun. It's very nice. So it's not nearly as big as the car ferry here in Manitowoc. And it's like a catamaran. It goes much faster. But inside the cabin, there's like rows of, it's like you're sitting on an airplane. There's like rows of seats and you get a little tray table and they have a concession stand on there and you can get drinks and snacks and stuff like that. And you can walk around, you can be outside too, but we loved it. It was such a nice change of scenery from sitting in the car.
Oh, yeah, how cool, and, more of an adventure then too. How
That's
long
right.
did it take to cross?
It takes 2 hours from
Okay,
Muskegon to Milwaukee or Milwaukee to Muskegon, so
and
if
think
you're
of
heading.
all of the time, and like we said, there was an accident, so it added 2 hours to your time. Oh, wow, Kristen.
Yeah, so, like, the normal travel time, it probably was about the same because we had to drive, like, 5 hours there and then 2 hours across and then, like, an hour and 15 minutes home, but it was just really fun and it changed things up and the kids got to experience something new, so,
And that time that you're on board too must be more relaxing than being in
yeah,
the car.
I read my book the entire time. The girls, like, played on their tablets and read books, and it was just a lot of fun.
Okay, what were you reading?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I'll have to get the title for you. It's something like Hell's Bells or something. It's kind of a totally different kind of book than I've ever read before. I got it. For Whom the Bell Tolls is the name of
Oh,
the book.
that's a classic, right?
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know. It's, like, about the levels of hell and, like, what happens very fictionally to, like, what people when people pass in the afterlife, what they do, and, the levels of hell kind of mimic Dante's Inferno a little bit, if anybody's read that.
Yeah.
But it's more like fantasy and there's demons and it's very bizarre from anything I normally read, but it popped up on Kindle Unlimited for free. So,
Oh,
what?
I'm pretty sure that's a classic. I haven't read it, but Teek told me that he was at Kohl's the other day, and as he was walking out, a gentleman stopped him and said, "Hey, I've got a joke for you."
Oh, wait, I can't wait to hear it.
And, oh, I don't know if I can remember the joke, but I know the punchline. And the joke was about William Tell, and oh, I'm not sure about something about William Tell bowling, and oh, okay, they unearthed some archives, and it was all related to William Tell, and they found a bowling shirt, but the insignia of the bowling shirt had worn off through history, so you could no longer tell for whom the Tell bowls.
Uh, that's great. I will have to look that so now I'm gonna have to look this up. Like, maybe it is a classic and I didn't
Oh,
know.
Vicky, Ernest Hemingway. Yes, yep. Thank you.
We knew we'd have somebody hanging out and helping us out. Yeah. Um, I had no idea. I just started reading it.
So would you recommend it?
I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely kinda, like, pulling me forward. Um, it's just really different from anything I read, so, you
Yeah,
know, I'm
yeah.
not very much into the fantasy genre. There's a little bit of, how can I say this? A little bit of intense romance in it, if that's anybody's shtick.
Oh.
So
Vicky, cute, cute. Yeah, I haven't read a lot of Hemingway, but, Farewell to Arms is on my list, so
okay. That's right. Farewell to Arms.
yeah, and now I should add For Whom the Bell Tolls. I just think it's valuable to introduce ourselves to the classics.
Yeah. Well, and just like, again, reading something different, there's all kinds of, because there's like these demons with jobs. Demons are not bad, by the way, in this book. And so, like, all different names, like, I have to really think about, like, how I hear the name in my head, like, how I pronounce it in my head when I'm reading is different. And, just it's so funny, like, there's in there, some people get to go to, like, their version of paradise, and so it would be like, "Well, what would my version be?"
Interesting. So it's making you think.
Yeah. So, you just
Excellent.
kind of like, that's good. Good morning.
So
Next
did you
morning.
happen to come across this word at all in your reading? Coruscate or coruscating?
No, coruscate.
This was in a book I was reading, and coruscate means to flash, like a flash or sparkle,
Mm.
or flashing or sparkling.
Ooh, I like it. Coruscating.
So, by any chance, was there coruscating lights at this concert you went to?
100% yes. So we had like a pretty intense 7 days. Doug and I, the weekend before the 4th, went down to Chicago to see Chris Stapleton, which was like a bucket list concert for us. And he did not disappoint. He played for like 2.5 hours straight through.
Oh, wow.
It was incredible. He's an incredible musician, like, he can play the guitar like nobody else. His voice sounds exactly like how it sounds on the radio, which, always is a nice thing. Um, it was awesome.
And where are you in Chicago? What venue is this?
This is actually it's some bank. It's in Tinley Park. It's an outdoor amphitheater. I think it's like the Capital One Amphitheater.
Oh,
Um, So we had seats underneath there's like a large overhang there.
is that
There
where this is? Okay.
Yeah, so we had seats that were underneath that overhang, and then you can kinda see those poles in the background. Then there's, like, grass seats going all the way up. So there's, like, 11,000 seats in the bottom and then another 11,000 seats on the grass, basically.
Wow.
So
Wow.
tons of people. It was super hot down there. You can see our cheeks look rosy from it was toasty, but, what a just a cool, like I said, bucket list experience.
You both look sun-kissed and glowing. It's awesome.
Yeah, we, also biked that day, and then the next day we actually biked 10 miles, because there's these incredible trails. If anybody loves biking, we're just kind of like Doug just got a new bike, so we're kinda trying to get out more, but the Cook County Preserves, which is on the southwestern area of Chicago, has incredible paved, really nice bike trails, and we had a
Oh.
blast riding on those trails, so,
Are you using e-bikes or regular powered bikes?
right, this kind of power.
Aha, nice, very nice.
I should have lifted my leg because that's leg power, but
I'm not sure it's that kind of show, Kristen.
that would be too coruscacious.
So did you, discover any surprising or new words?
I mean, I'm sure I
Mm,
did, but I don't have them available.
okay.
I have crossed over into the afternoon where my brain no longer works real well. Um,
Another
so
word I had to look up was etiolated, and it's spelled Etiolateded, but it's pronounced etiolated.
mm,
And it's like how you would describe a plant that gets really stringy because it hasn't had enough sun.
mm,
Yeah, I didn't know there was specifically a word for that, and it was used to describe a person's appearance, which I guess is also an acceptable use. But I was like, "What?" And I was like, etio." I was like, etiolated, etiolated. So I had to like look it up and like really look at the pronunciation and everything. And I'm like, "What kind of book am I reading?"
does that in the context of like a human, does that mean you're like slender and
It's not
scaly?
complimentary. It was like in the book, it was a person that had just had some kind of like illness, hardship, their clothes were like too large for them now and they're kind of frumpy and like saggy skin because they had like, lost weight or something.
Etiolating
Etiolated.
or etiolate? Wow.
Yeah.
I, am once again just so impressed that you can not only remember these words, but you can also remember the definitions. Bravo.
Well, thanks to this show, I've got a reason to, right?
I know. Just like maybe this is, um, I just don't have like the brain capacity to be like, yes, I'm gonna throw that in my normal course of language.
I mean, it's interesting because it's such a nuanced word, right? Like, it's just got such a specific use, but,
Mhm.
like, if you can use it, wow, it's so much more descriptive than trying to describe it
I
otherwise.
feel like if I use that in a sentence, people would be like, "What
Ah,
did you just say?"
right,
Right?
right.
Like, is it lost in translation then?
Right, right. Good point. That's why we share it on the show so more people can.
We run into you and we use these words. We expect you to know them, guys. You have to do your homework. You should all have a vocabulary journal in your homes where you have written down not only these words that we introduce you to, definitions.
Please use it in a sentence.
That's right.
Okay, wait. So wait, is this the word I think it's going to be? Oh, loose left. I love this concept. Feeling a sense of loss upon finishing a good book. Sensing the weight of the back cover locking away the lives of characters you've gotten to know so well. Loose left. Isn't that cool?
Do you think that if there was an establishment who offered book titles, they could also provide counseling and support for those in the state of loose leftness?
Yeah, when you're experiencing loose leftness. Yeah. Right. Slam the book cover. Another. And
Yeah.
then yeah, and then you counsel through the loose
Yeah,
left and
there'd have to be this, like, little window of time where you have, like, your emotional support group about finishing it and having it not be there anymore.
because that does that happen to you if you read a good book? You think about those characters afterwards.
Yeah, or you're like, "No, I want more." Every now and then I feel like, "Dang it, I want that should not be ending."
I know. I wanted to hang out with them just a little longer. Like, what were they going to do next?
I know. So Tina,
Mm,
you have had a big week.
I did. I did. I feel it was very emotional. It's 1 year. It's our live anniversary, and thankfully, I was surrounded by family, and it was incredible. And now, like the day after, I just felt this like relief. Like,
Mm,
okay, now I can keep going forward. Like now it's time, phoenix from the ashes kind of thing. So I hope I can maintain that attitude
yeah.
because I was really unsure approaching it because I was very, very emotional.
Well, I mean, there's, like, you know
Ah, Mary, I just have to. Mary said, I've actually thrown a book across the room because it made me mad what happened in it. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes.
"This is trash."
Which you can't do with a Kindle, right? Like you can't toss your, or
No.
can you?
No, but you could, give it a good close and a set down, right? Uh,
Stamp your foot. Yeah.
Dang it. No, I mean, I just think, Tina, I love that you are celebrating that, first of all, as an alive anniversary. That's amazing. Again, just kudos to your mindset about these things. But, like, this was a big deal. You guys were in an incredibly horrible accident a year ago. And to be where you are now and see how far you've come, what do you think it was about that 1 year that just was so significant?
I think part of it, like leading up to it, until the date of it, 1 year before, everything had been fine.
Yeah.
So now, looking back a year, it's already post accident.
Mhm.
But up until that point, it was, oh, a year ago at this time, here's what I was doing. A year ago at this time, I was completely fine, right? So, and it's hard not to make those comparisons sometimes, but
Right.
now I think I'm fully embracing. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you.
Yeah, so this window of time in your mind is kind of your window of time is year, and so that looking back versus looking forward and kind of just that inner timeline in your head, I could see how that
Yeah,
be
and
so
it's
meaningful.
kind of like it was a lost year, right? Like, for so much of it, I was in
Mm,
the hospital, in rehab, in recovery. Like, I wasn't able to really start getting my life back until
right.
just a few months ago, and even that's really hard work. So now, though, I feel like, okay, it just feels like now it's go time. Now I'm back, like, I'm cognizant, right? Like
You guys, the first time that I got to see Tina, I think was in September of last year, and we were doing 15-minute, chats because you were still recovering and, trying to make sure you're protecting rest. And, like, I just think how incredible it is from that. We didn't actually talk for 15 minutes. We probably went much longer than that. I just think back and I appreciate your perspective on it being a lost year. But I also think about everything you've done in the year to get to where you are. And for that reason alone, it's not lost because you've worked so hard.
Thank you.
right?
Thank you.
The therapy and the recovery and the self-care. And I mean, even just for you guys personally, moving, selling a house, you've had some big milestone things happen in the last year that certainly got you ready for the next year.
Well, and one thing, as I started therapy, I set a goal. There's a bank of mailboxes at the end of the road we live on. So if you like go out of our driveway, it's just to the right. So it's not terribly far, but the mailbox isn't on our house. And I was like, okay, first goal, I need to be able to walk to that bank of mailboxes.
Mm,
And it took me a long time, but on Independence Day, which I thought was kind of poetic, right? On Independence Day, I was able to achieve my personal independence goal using a stand-up walker, right? Like, I'm not
yeah.
able to just walk on my own yet, but I walked from the house out to those mailboxes and back, and it just was so good to walk outside for the
Yeah.
first time in a year.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally it. I'm like, for all the reasons that people said, hey, this might not be a thing, or whatever it is that you were told in the beginning, like, you are proving everybody wrong, and you're proving everybody wrong probably way ahead of schedule. And it just is such a testament to who you are on the inside, and how strong you are, and how determined and how positive you are, because there's a lot of people that wouldn't set a goal, right? Or they wouldn't think about, how can I just set mini milestones to be able to keep moving forward? And you've done that the entire time.
And I think those, mini milestones for every person individually, no matter what it is you're trying to achieve or overcome or accomplish, that's really like the small bite to get there, right? Like every small bite it matters. Every smidge you can add to your pile gets bigger.
Mhm.
So, like Vicky was commenting, Vicky knows I'm coming for her next. Her house is just a little further around the corner. I almost got there, but not quite. But
Love that. I love that. Pretty soon you're gonna be, like, in her window waving, and, oh, right?
she'll find me passed out on her porch.
But I mean, I've heard the same thing, from Jason saying, "Hey, I'm walking with a cane, and then I'm gonna get rid of the cane, and then I'm gonna be able to go this far," and just being able in small ways to just keep pulling yourself forward, into, making progress and feeling good and being strong, and, like,
Yeah, and celebrate your successes, right? Don't compare yourself or hold yourself up to someone else's experience because
mhm,
everyone's experience is unique and different.
right. Yeah, I
Now,
mean,
you can use it as inspiration, right? Like, oh, okay, that is something I should be able to do again someday. Maybe I can work towards it, but don't let it get you down.
right.
Easier said than done.
I mean, nothing good comes from comparison. It's not fruitful typically, and, that constant just desire and improvement and things is just, it's so important. It's so important. So kudos.
Thank you.
Congratulations on 1 year.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your resilience. I love seeing you standing up. It makes me so may just you sent me a picture last week standing by your kitchen counter, and I just am like, "Yes, yes."
Thanks. Here's hoping there's more of that to come. I'm going to keep
Mm,
working, keep working, keep working. And for the longest time, I couldn't even do that. So
you're totally doing it. You're doing it all.
thank you for the encouragement means so much. Thank you. And thank you viewers too for encouraging me. I really appreciate you all and facing your challenges and achieving your goals too.
Set a mini goal today.
Yeah, set a mini goal. It doesn't even have to be a coruscating mini goal.
I knew you were gonna get that in, yes.
All right, next time we have to talk about cribbage, but this has been such a fun conversation. I really appreciate you so much, Kristen, and you two viewers.
You guys too. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching Coffee with Kristen and Tina. That's Kristen Odell. I'm Tina Prigge. We'll see you next time.